Hello everyone. Today we need to sit down seriously and talk about what's happening with tariffs under President Trump. Pour yourself a strong cup of coffee, because what's coming may feel like your wallet is being drained, but this truth needs to be said clearly, without sugarcoating. Many people are tangled in confusion right now. Headlines everywhere. The Supreme Court blocks this, the president signs that, lawsuits back and forth. It feels like a long-running legal drama series. But don't worry. Today I'm going to break everything down in the simplest way possible. And trust me, the reality behind the flashy media headlines is not what you hear in a 30-second news clip. Let's go back to February 20th, 2026, a historic day in American economic history. The Supreme Court issued a decisive ruling, declaring that most of the tariffs imposed under emergency authority lacked legal foundation and violated the Constitution. Here's why. The president invoked the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, a law typically used for economic sanctions. He argued that the U.S. was facing an emergency, drug flows across the border and massive trade deficits, importing far more than exporting, creating a severe imbalance threatening national security. But in a 6-3 decision, the court rejected that argument outright. The Chief Justice and the majority emphasized, in nearly 50 years, it had never been used to impose tariffs on this scale. Tariffs are a legislative power of Congress under the Constitution, not a tool the president can freely deploy under the banner of emergency. The conclusion was clear. Roughly 70 to 80% of the tariffs imposed under IEEPA were immediately invalidated. This is the part that makes many people angry. When a tax is ruled invalid, the government must refund the money collected. Estimates from reputable sources like Penn Wharton and Customs and Border Protection suggest the total ranges between $130 and over $175 billion, an enormous amount, equivalent to the budgets of several federal departments combined. But guess who gets that money? Is it ordinary consumers like us? Is it you and me, who paid higher prices for everything from appliances to groceries? Not at all. Over the past period, when you bought a refrigerator, tires, clothes, or industrial materials, prices were pushed up because of tariffs. Importers and large corporations passed most of that burden onto the final buyer. You indirectly paid that tax through your receipt. Now, as the court orders refunds, that enormous sum will flow back to hundreds of thousands of importing businesses. From retail giants like Costco and Walmart to tech leaders like Apple, automakers like Toyota, luxury brands like Prada, tire manufacturers like Goodyear, and booksellers like Barnes and Noble. They collected money from you to pay tariffs, and now the government refunds it to them. This looks like a public transfer of wealth from citizens to multinational corporations. In plain language, this is reverse subsidization. Workers and middle-class families effectively financed large corporate players, while the narrative was sold as protecting American jobs or fighting unfair trade. Do you think President Trump would stop after the court's ruling? Not at all. On the very day of the ruling, he signed a new executive order, imposing a temporary 10 to 15% import tariff on most goods from around the world. This time, he didn't use IEEPA. He shifted to Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, a provision that allows a president to impose up to 15% tariffs for 150 days to address serious balance of payments problems. It sounds reasonable, but economists and lawyers are openly skeptical. Section 122 was created during the gold standard era, when balance of payments deficits could literally drain U.S. gold reserves. Since 1971, when Nixon ended the gold standard, the global monetary system shifted to floating exchange rates. Foreign holders of US dollars reinvest them into treasury bonds, Wall Street equities, and real estate. The money cycles back. Why use a legally fragile provision like Section 122, knowing it will likely be challenged? The answer: to keep tariff revenue flowing while buying time. Section 122 is only a temporary shield. For 150 days, possibly longer with congressional approval, tariffs continue to be collected. At the same time, the administration is intensifying investigations under Section 301. This is the real legal heavy weapon. Section 301 allows tariffs if unfair trade practices are proven: illegal subsidies, forced technology transfer, dumping to crush domestic industries and later raise prices once competition disappears. To activate Section 301, investigations must be thorough, transparent, and can last many months, even a year. Trump doesn't want to wait. He wants tariffs active immediately. So Section 122 becomes the bridge. Even if challenged in court, the legal process itself buys months of time. By then, Section 301 may be ready to replace it. This is a continuous cycle. Old tariffs struck down, temporary tariffs, new tariffs under another authority. And the final payer in that cycle? The American consumer. Let's revisit the blockbuster campaign promise. Tariffs will replace personal income taxes. Americans won't have to pay income tax anymore. Foreign countries will pay instead. It sounds incredibly appealing, doesn't it? But look at reality. Did you file your taxes this year? Did your income tax meaningfully decline? Almost certainly not. Tariffs are not a replacement. They are an additional layer. The government collects tariffs from imports, companies raise prices, you pay more at checkout, and you still pay income tax on your wages. The result? Double taxation, once on income, once on consumption. If you are 45 or older, you are the primary victim of this policy. Here's why. Retirement savings are being eroded. Inflation driven by tariffs reduces the purchasing power of the money you set aside for old age. Your 401k or IRA account balance may look similar, but it buys less in real terms. Healthcare costs are climbing. Despite promises of price transparency, imported medical equipment and pharmaceutical inputs still face tariffs. Hospital bills and prescription prices do not fall, they increase. Financial market volatility is another blow. The constant tug-of-war between the executive branch and the judiciary creates instability. Every new executive order or court ruling sends stocks swinging. Your retirement portfolio rises and falls with political headlines. Tariff policies like these carry serious legal vulnerabilities. And the Supreme Court has confirmed that. But the price of legal correctness? Hundreds of billions flowing to corporations, while consumers like us receive nothing back for the inflated prices we paid. The Section 122 tariffs ahead will likely face lawsuits, continued inflationary pressure, and possibly another wave of corporate refunds in the future. Don't get swept away by elegant economic terminology or slogans like "foreign countries are paying." At the end of the day, tariffs are a disguised consumption tax, and the final bill always shows up in your shopping cart. I will continue updating you on Section 301 developments, new lawsuits, and real-world impacts. Stay alert. Manage your finances carefully. Diversify investments. And don't fall for simplistic slogans. Protecting your own wallet is what matters most right now. Thank you for listening. If you found this helpful, share it so more people understand the truth. Stay financially strong and stay safe.